the generations came after, when Sha'ban comes in, they lock their shop, meaning done, and start reading the Quran. And this is highly something for us to do. Is, again, I always say this to myself before anyone else. We as a human being, we are not a switch. That, you know what, today I am completely, or I'm not yet ready for any of the real ibadah of Allah, the real. I mean, I do my salah as a just a habit. And then tomorrow is Ramadan and I'm going to turn and I'm going to be the saint person. It doesn't work this way. I need preparations. And this is one of the things for Sha'ban, is to prepare. And prepare not only by fasting, prepare by changing the daily routine and changing the priorities. Definitely changing the priorities. Now, there's something very nice they say. Look at now coming to what are the virtues? What is the deeds that we highly recommend it to be done in Sha'ban? Number one, we said, is fasting. And one of the reasons they say about the fasting also, they say in general, all the obligatory actions, for example, salah, almost all of them except actually even the asr, they are either preceded by an extra deed, nafila, and followed by, so either or both. So for Ramadan, the same story. Yani Fajr, you have 2 rak'at before Fajr. Dhuhr, you have actually 4 and 2, or 2 and 4, it depends which school of thought you follow. Asr, there is no sunnah mu'akkada, but there is an extra you do before, 4. Maghrib, you have 2, 4, 2 after. One is not highly stressed upon, the other one it is. So every obligation in Salah is preceded by a nafil and followed by a nafil. Why? I mean, there's many reasons. One of the reasons is what? To make sure when you come to the obligatory, you have mastered it. You've prepared yourself. You removed all the distractions. Ramadan, same thing. Sha'ban is highly recommended to fast, then followed by Shawwal, and you have the 6 days of Shawwal. So that's one of the reasons also you have to remind yourself, you need to fast in Sha'ban. For us women, when is the time that Sayyidah Aisha used to make up the missing days of Ramadan, of the missing days of fasting in Ramadan? When? In Sha'ban. She used to make it in Sha'ban also. Okay, but don't leave it till the last day of Sha'ban. And I was like, 5 days left for me, and there's only 4 days of Sha'ban. I was like, what happened to the 360 years? So don't do that. But I'm sorry, but if you are doing it, again, you know, nobody knows, you know. Your intention, when you are delaying your fast, you're making up your fasting till Sha'ban. Why? If you are following in the footsteps of Sayyidah Aisha, alhamdulillah, then you will do it day 1 of Sha'ban. By day 7, you're done. Because again, you can get your period again, and then after the 15 is not recommended. Definitely the last 2 days is not recommended. If you are doing it, I'm sorry, out of laziness and just procrastination, don't do it. Yes.
So after Sha'ban, it's not
So the first thing we do in Sha'ban, highly recommended, is fasting. What is the other thing we do in Sha'ban? Specifically in Sha'ban, which is also preparation for Ramadan, is reading Quran. Some of the Salaf, some of the the righteous people, not from necessarily from the Sahaba, but the generations came after, when Sha'ban comes in, they lock their shop, meaning done, and start reading the Quran. And this is highly something for us to do. Is, again, I always say this to myself before anyone else. We as a human being, we are not a switch. That, you know what, today I am completely, or I'm not yet ready for any of the real ibadah of Allah, the real. I mean, I do my salah as a just a habit. And then tomorrow is Ramadan and I'm going to turn and I'm going to be the saint person. It doesn't work this way. I need preparations. And this is one of the things for Sha'ban, is to prepare. And prepare not only by fasting, prepare by changing the daily routine and changing the priorities. Definitely changing the priorities. Meaning there is things always a priority. My children, my husband, their rights are a priority. But there's other things that we do and spend time are not a priority. I need from Sha'ban to move them down or move them from the schedule. For example, yes, Absolutely, she is right. Cut down on the internet and social media and the phone and the WhatsApp and all these things. Somebody the other day, last week, this weekend, was asking me, but most of what I get on WhatsApp and on the messages is all, things reminding me of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, that's great. But also it's a distraction. It's still a distraction. I'm not saying it is not good to do, but there is, remember, times that you're gonna grab it. And the time of Sha'ban, let alone the time of Ramadan, is not to read the messages that people will send me. This is time for my ibadah, action, exactly. Sha'ban is like a preparation to get yourself ready for actions. It's not time to read. It's not time to read the books. It's time to act. Whatever you learned in the 10 months of all the WhatsApp messages and all the things, right? That Sha'ban is the field to practice it. So you need, number one is to fast. At least Monday and Thursday. Well, I would say the least as we are taught by Rasulullah, at least the 3 days of the month. So no way next week, which is going to be the 13, 14, 15, if you are a person who is not usually doesn't fast, make it something for sure. If not this, I cannot do one day after the other, then you're going to make Monday and Thursday, or you're going to do this week Thursday, next week I'll do Monday, maybe I'll do only the 15, or I'll do only the 13, one of these. Meaning you have to signal Sha'ban more fasting than what you are usual. So if your usual is Monday and Thursday, Sha'ban has to be more. If your if your usual is 3 days of the month, then work hard to make Sha'ban even more. Make it as a sign that you are fasting because it is Sha'ban. 1. 2 is Al-Quran. Al-Quran. You really have to start your plan of Ramadan, but start practicing it from now. And again, and we always say this in detail and many times, it's not a matter of only how many times I'm going to finish the Quran or the reading. I call it khatma race. How many times you finish, 2 times, that's not the issue. Al-Sunnah of Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, how many times he finished the Quran himself in Ramadan?
Twice.
Only the last year. He always did it once, but he didn't only read. كان يتدارس القرآن. This is how the hadith says. He used to review the Quran with Sayyidina Jibreel. Once, except the last year. When the last year he passed away, it was twice. But always it was once. So my goal in Ramadan is minimum. I will start with the minimum and then I'm going to put a higher goal. Imam al-Shafi'i, it is recorded in many books. He finished the Quran in Ramadan 60 times. La ilaha illallah. That means twice a day. And don't tell me it's impossible, right? If I talk to my mom and I say to my mom, these days I can send a message to my friend overseas and it's going to answer me in 1 minute, she's going to say, what? No way. So did you get my point? At their level, at their relationship with Allah, what Allah put barakah in their time, this is beyond you and me. I'm not an Imam Shafi'i. I don't have his heart. I don't have his taqwa. None of us does. So in general, my goal will be the minimum is where he did alayhi salatu wasalam. That's my starting point, right? Meaning what he taught us to do. He did way more, but at least that's what he did. Then I'm going to say, what is the average? So I always tell people, myself, number 1, you need to make 1 khatma of reading. You get the reward of reading the Quran, and practice it now from Sha'ban, so when Ramadan comes in, it will be easier. You need to have a second, not necessarily khatma, because that depends on you and how easy you can read the Quran, where the aim of my reading is to understand, meaning I will get the whole Ramadan, 1 surah every day, but you need to put a schedule. Every day I'm going to do half a page, or I will do 1 page. If you do 1 page, you will finish juzu and a half. 1 page where I'm going to learn, especially for most of us in this room where we don't speak Arabic. So you're going to need to know the word-to-word meaning. Some of you, alhamdulillah, know the word-to-word meaning. But I need to make 1 khatma. 1 khatma reading, 1 khatma is understanding, and 1 khatma tadabbur, which means I will take 1 ayah and I will study what does this ayah mean, not what the words mean. And this probably will not take more than 3 hours. If you read a juz of the Quran, you read it properly, it will take you maximum 1 hour. If you're just reading. So 3 hours a day in Ramadan, it's not going to happen if you are now does not read Quran. You're not going to be able to do it in Ramadan. So from now, I'm going to train myself, meaning the first way of training is you're going to look and see what is the time in my day. Where is my days where I am freer? There's times where you're not free. The kids needs to go to school. You have to prepare food. The husband is coming. You have to go and pick them up from school. But what time of my day where I am the freest? That time has to be allocated to nothing but the Quran. That's where the phone comes the distraction, or the internet comes the distraction. So, and even reading other things, it has to focus all on the Quran. So that's the second thing in Sha'ban. Third, which is in Sha'ban, in Ramadan, it should be every day, which is a dua, supplications to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not only me, not only my children, not only my household, but everyone and all the Ummah. We're so much in need of dua. That's, maybe your dua will be granted, maybe mine is not. Maybe yours will be more accepted than mine. Alhamdulillah. So always, that's why you see most of the dua is in the plural. Rabbana, Atina, Rabbana, La tuzigh qulubana. It's in the plural for